Before we get started, please remember to rate the show on Spotify. Give us 5 stars if possible. Also, there's a question box there. Please answer the question. I want to know what you have to say. Welcome, everyone, to the Sunday Run podcast. We got another solo episode today, and I'm excited to talk you through my life, your life, and everything that's been going on. I really look forward to these solo podcasts now. They've taken me a few episodes to really get into and relax around, but I feel super comfortable and confident just talking to myself, and I hope you guys enjoy them as well. If you are running, I hope you've just started your run. I've had a fair few messages from people saying like these little running updates throughout the podcast actually help them, which kind of like it's pretty funny. Like I'm glad I'm in your ears right now if you are going for a run. I haven't actually ever run listening to a podcast, but I've heard there's a lot of benefits to it. So I think I'm about to do that. I ran 30 Ks the other day and I just got bored of music. So I guess anything above 25 Ks, I'm going to start listening to podcasts, and I might get a couple going, or, you know, put my own voice in. You never know. Today's episode, we are going to stick to the running thing, embracing the running thing, embracing being the running guy, and really just kind of nutting out what I'm doing with my running and how I can help you. So look forward to that. Stay tuned for that. I just got back from the Gold Coast. The Goldie is beautiful. I do find it a little bit tacky at times, you know, like, I don't know, just some of the areas like surf is a little bit painful. Obviously, everyone knows it's like local knowledge. You stay away from Surfers Paradise, but the weather is just incredible, and everyone is so like fitspo around there. Everyone's on their fitness grind. The median wake up time is probably 5 a.m, I'd say. And that's like a late wake. That's a sleep in for most of you Gold Coastians. So, yeah, it really does have me questioning where I'm living. I am a Melburnian, but I think recently I've been longing for somewhere else, longing for different weather, longing for a change up. And could Gold Coast be the area that I end up in? I don't know. There's plenty of good running in the Goldie. There's some great tracks. There's a lot of like street kind of running, street tracks, and then they have these awesome paths, which are really good, but they get incredibly boring. It's literally just a straight line for like 10, 20, 30 kilometers. So you can run along those, but you'd want a good podcast in your ear, such as myself. And then you have the beaches. The beaches are cool because it's hard-packed sand. Like, you can actually run along them. You can put, as in down the bottom of the beach, near the water, it's hard packed. You can actually put runners on and go for a run. You're obviously not going to run your best time along the beach, but it is ideal for your mental space. Like if I lived in the Gold Coast, I would love to run along there every day and yeah, just get around the ocean. I used to live kind of southeastern suburbs of Melbourne, and I don't know, being around the ocean or being around water, there's something that just like, you just get like gravitated towards it. There's like a magnetic field that pulls you towards it, especially if you're ever feeling down or whatever. It's really like nice to be around the water. So I would highly recommend, if you haven't gone for a run along the ocean, I'd recommend you do that. I've been getting a lot of questions lately surrounding my footy and like how I'm going to balance footy, how I'm going to balance running. And it was something that I was really like trying to figure out in my own head. How am I going to balance playing football and not make content on football, and then also try and run a heap and make a heap of content on it? So you got one side, which is running, which is where I make which is my income. You got the other side, which is footy, which is passion. Unfortunately, we didn't foresee my social media taking off like it has. We didn't foresee this amount of people being interested in what I do in regards to the running. And I've literally just prior to this podcast, maybe a day or two before, had to make the call on footy that I won't be playing this year. Really difficult call, actually. Like, this will be the first year I haven't played footy in since I started, since like I was 6. So yeah, a really tough one there, but I think it's the right move. It's too dangerous running out there. Like if I break an arm or break a leg, then it's kind of, I can't make content. It's kind of game over for me. So I had to make that call, which is really like flattening and sad, but I think it's also really exciting. Like I've just got my weekends back, albeit I loved playing footy, but I got my weekends back now and I can literally go anywhere. I'm young, I'm 24, I have nothing holding me back. I'm single, I don't have a wife or kids. I can literally pack up and go anywhere. I've got a drone, I've got a tripod and a camera, and I can go anywhere and make content. So whilst I am really sad and really flat about footy, I am so excited for what's to come. Like I'm talking, I want to be on a plane at least once every 3 weeks. I want to go to Tassie, do a bit of running there. I want to, go to like Hawaii. I want to go all around the world just to like really spread the message and also get all this different kind of content, this like awesome, sick kind of, new look on it all. Because I've found there's a real gap in the market. I had someone comment on my Strava the other day being like, I just ran 30 Ks and they were like, how, and that's the furthest run I've done. They were like, how are you a running influencer when the furthest run you've done is 30 kilometers? Like that's a joke. And I totally get that. But I think the difference between my stuff and like a professional runner's stuff is that I'm not a professional runner. Like I'm literally just an average person who likes running. I'm trying to get other people into it. So if, I can affect more lives like that, then that's great. But that is why I think my stuff resonates with people, because I am just an average person. I'm an average person who's just ran 30 Ks though. So I wanted to talk through that. Like running 30 Ks sucks. I said to myself, I need to push myself more. Like I'm getting too bogged down in doing just like 10 Ks every time. I'm, just like doing the same run every time. It's probably getting boring for you guys. So I said to myself for a whole week, I'm going to run 30 Ks on Saturday. I'm going to run 30 Ks on Saturday. And then it was Friday night. And I was like, all right, I'm running 30 Ks tomorrow. I'm just going to get up at like 5 a.m. and just drive down to the beach and just go for a run. And I did it. Like I was really surprised by that, because anyone can really do it. Like it's not, I feel like at that distance, you need prior training and so on. But like your body is so capable. It's so much more capable than you think. And I think it's something that everyone should really push themselves to do. I'd say most bodies could run at least 10 kilometers. Granted, you are not morbidly obese or, have a terminal illness. I'd say most bodies could run 10 kilometers. That might not be a fast 10 Ks. You might just get through, but it's still 10 Ks, and it is something that will, make you feel good towards the end. A running update, you're probably, I'd say a kilometre into your run by now, and that's grouse. Keep going. I feel like the first K is often the hardest, and, if you can really push through that first K, get over the hump, these next 3 Ks are probably going to be the most enjoyable of your run. So keep going, and one foot in front of the other. Keep swinging those arms, king/queen. Topic 1 today, I wanted to talk about running a marathon. Now, let me just crack an alive 1 second. That's not an alcoholic beverage. That is an alive symbiotic. I am no longer playing footy, which allows me all this time and opportunity to run a marathon. Now, I'm not just going to be running one. I'm going to run multiple, but let's just start with one. And it's something I'm really excited for. I didn't think I'd ever run a marathon in my life. I didn't think I'd ever be excited to run a marathon, but somehow I am doing both. 42.2 kilometers is a marathon. I've done 30. So 12.2 Ks to go. And I think I could do it. My training is going to be directed towards that. I've just like reevaluated my whole plan alongside my coach, my whole running side. I've just like essentially restarted from the start. So I'm doing this properly now. I'm becoming an actual runner. I'm technically a full-time runner, which is a little bit ridiculous. But yeah, I wanted to take you guys along for the journey with me. It's such a mind game running a marathon. Like you have to have a little bit of mental fortitude to get through. You have to like really want it as well. And you have to do the sessions that you don't want to do. So in my running program, this is my own personal one, not the Sunday run ones, but I'll model them around this as well in the future. But my current one, I've got a long run for the first one. The second one is a little bit more moderate. Third one is more about pace. And then fourth one, I think, is another pace one. So I'm looking at it from a volume perspective. I'm starting with running about 30, I think it's like the first week is like 30 Ks a week. Second week's like 35 maybe. The third week's like 36 or 37 and so on. It's just going to keep climbing. And my first run of each week is just going to keep getting longer and longer, obviously, until I'm running a marathon. So it's a really interesting way of structuring it, and it's something that I will trickle through to my programs, which I will hand out to you for free, obviously. But it's a really exciting prospect. I've had a lot of questions regarding how I'm going to be training for marathons, like in regards to weight training. I'll show you guys all of that. I've already done some videos on it, but I'll probably talk about it in a podcast and really break it down as a whole topic. But yeah, there's so much to it, and it's really something I'm just kind of getting involved with now. I'm not a professional runner. I'm not trying to be that body shape, but I do want to maintain size and enjoy my running. So plenty of that to come. Let me just have a quick sip. If you're still going, keep running. I'm here with you. It's you and I just ticking over. I guess, you'll probably be another K or so in, starting to enjoy it. Your heart rate's it's starting to pick up. My tip to you would be to make sure you keep bringing that heart rate down at this stage of the run. Just keep trying to pull it down a little bit, because that will help you later in the later stages of your run. So keep going, keep embracing it. I believe in you. I really do. Today I wanted to talk about my plan for the Sunday run programs. Essentially, we've done the 6 weeks. Our beginners should be able to run 5 kilometers. Our intermediate runners should be able to run 5 kilometers in under 30 minutes. And our advanced runners should be able to do a sub 20-minute 5K. That is an elite base to start things off. Like, that is so fantastic. You've got a great level of fitness, and now we're able to really change things up. Before I do that, though, I've had a whole lot of people who have come on board with the programs at different points of the stage. So they've come in at week 3 and they started with like the week 3 program. It's not ideal. I agree. So what I'm going to do is either it's already out, or next week I'm going to release all those, like the beginner, intermediate, and advanced programs. And I'm going to have them in a full program document, PDF. You download it. It'll be week 1 through to week 6. Literally a guide of how to get a sub 20-minute 5K, or how to run 5Ks in under 30 minutes, or just how to run 5 kilometers. It's going to be fantastic. Like, such a great kind of resource for you guys to bounce off. You don't have to do the program the way it says. You can change things up and move things around, but this is how I would recommend you try and run. And then the question is, what do we do next? And I reckon we start picking it up. How to run, a half marathon. Like, how would you train around a half marathon? I'm pulling on the right sources to help me build these programs. I'm not just going into this on my own. I've got sports and exercise scientists looking in it. I've got physios looking at it. I've got PTs. I really am doing this in an ethical way to make sure you guys are safe. Keep in mind, this is all a free program. Like, I'm doing this 100% free. I don't get any profits of it other than your email, which I could send you emails throughout the week, but I don't. I'm doing this in an as ethical a way as possible, and I really hope you guys enjoy it and appreciate it. So yeah, I think like running a half marathon free programming will be great. You talk about impact and like trying to help people in life and in what I'm doing. Well, I feel like this is the way I can help people. If anyone's not privileged enough to be able to pay for a coach or a PT or get these kind of resources, then hopefully I can help you out. But yeah, I'll always try and do the Sunday run free programming. I want to keep pushing that and keep doing it. So if you haven't already signed up, make sure you sign up, because like there's just always going to be new stuff. I think another thing I'm going to start adding in is like a weekly check-in, and it'll be like a weekly email with like a bit of, with some ideas of like what to eat during the week, how to sleep, how to recover, or how to prepare for runs. So that is going to be another aspect of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, though. I don't want this to become like, going to people's spam folder. I don't want it to be something that you guys just like delete and move forward. I want you to understand and appreciate the work that goes into it, but then also like really take in and consolidate the information and, see if you can help someone else with it. So I think that's going to be the way to go forward with these Sunday run programs. It's been such like a rewarding experience the last 6 weeks in building and developing this. It started out really hard, really fast, which no one could have expected, and I'm super appreciative of. Obviously, along the way, like people have fallen off, they lose accountability, they miss a week, and then the whole program's done. So that's why I'm coming out with these new programs with the whole thing put together to send straight to you so you can start from the start. I can't believe this is my life at the moment. I can literally pack up and travel anywhere. I can literally like just run wherever, and people seem to love it. My content is at an all-time high, and you guys are just like constantly messaging me with appreciation. So there's no chance I'm gonna stop doing it. The final running update. Hopefully you're steaming now. We're a fair bit of a way in. Obviously, it depends what kind of distance you're running, but I'm doing this just like general population stuff. I reckon hopefully you're going for like a 4 to 5K run. Anything more or less, that's fantastic as long as you're out there moving, or you're just going for a walk. But keep going. I'm listening. I'm in your ears right now, talking to your brain, saying to keep going. So you better bloody do it. Don't worry about your heart rate anymore, I reckon, if you're on a 5K run. Just, start to enjoy it. It's such a privilege to be in this kind of pain. I know that sounds a little bit like ridiculous, but what an awesome feeling to be able to put yourself, like physically put yourself here because you want to. Like that's such a privilege. I don't know. Maybe that's a weird way I look at things, but man, it's such like how fucking good is running. I put out a story the other day and was talking about Q&As. I said, send in some questions for the podcast. And you guys delivered as per. I literally got over, I think, like 200 responses. I don't get why you guys are so engaged with all of this, but I'm going to keep bloody going. So a lot of questions to get through here, and that's why kind of the first half of the podcast was a little bit shorter, but we've got a fair bit to get through, and I'm going to really break it all down. So please keep listening and keep running if you're still running. The first question from Fletcher Powell _ says, how has the rapid growth affected your mental state, positive or negative? It's a great question. It's a really thoughtful question as well. So thanks for that, Fletcher. It's been super rewarding, all of this, no doubt. And I'm so appreciative. It's also been like pretty stressful, like there was a point there I was going up 10,000 followers a day. I'm getting messages from people saying, stop buying followers, you dickhead. Like so much hate messages, but also so much positivity. And then the second you stop going up 10,000 followers a day, I think I went down to like going up 5,000 followers a day, which is astronomical. Like that is a ridiculous amount to be going up 5,000 followers a day. But that felt like I was failing. So trying to recalibrate my brain into what is good and like positive reinforcement has been pretty difficult. Mentally, I'm very happy. I'm good, bro. But like, yeah, trying to recalibrate my brain in regards to the social media stuff has been quite difficult. I'm certainly not climbing like that, like I was. But I'm really trying to base my metrics of success off impact, not follower amount. And I've tried to do that from the start, but that's hard not to do when you're getting. It's hard to do when you're getting 10,000 followers a day. So how's it affected my mental state? Just like recalibration. And I think it's changed what I consider to be good. It's changed my standards. Whether that's a positive or negative, I'm not too sure. But yeah, certainly something to keep an eye on, I think, for me. I can get very obsessive over numbers, and that is not going to produce good content. It's not going to help people. So thanks so much for the question, mate. It's very thoughtful. Bass Fluke says, firstly, huge fan of your podcast. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate it. Have you ever thought about having a crack at an ultra marathon? Yeah, bloody oath. Yeah, honestly, now that I've quit footy, a whole new level of like let's do all of it. I want to do an ultra marathon. Sounds horrible. Sounds a bit dangerous as well. I want to do like a tough mudder. I don't know what the official term for those kind of runs are, but essentially like an obstacle course with a run. Obviously, do some marathons and just try and get around to as many of those like events as I possibly can. So yes, an ultra marathon is on the cards. I'm not sure how far away that it could be a while though. Let me just get a few marathons under my belt first, and then we'll go from there. But the content surrounding that is going to be really cool. I think like first thing with the running stuff is first off the gates is a marathon. Then I want to be going around to different states, different countries doing running and just meeting people, going for runs together and like really building that series. And then from there, start doing things like ultra marathons and crazy stuff. Gemma Batty says, loving the podcast. Thank you, Gemma. I really appreciate it. Can you recommend headphones for long runs, please? She's currently using AirPods and they're just not cut out for it. Firstly, let me just preempt this by saying I think I was, I don't think I'm still sponsored, but I had a sponsorship with Jabra. I probably should check that. So I've had free Jabras sent to me for the last like 2 years or so, which is fantastic. And they have been unreal for running. Now, obviously, like being sponsored, you have to take that with a grain of salt. I would recommend going out and doing your own research. But Jabras do not fall out of my ear. They stay in, they stay charged, and they're just like a pretty easy headphone. The sound quality is incredible. If you get the really high up ones, I think they're like the Elite Pros or something. Their sound, their noise cancellation is incredible. Like you literally can't hear anything else. It's quite concerning. So I'd say check out Jabras. I want to give the AirPod Pros a go. So they might be my next purchase, to be honest. But I better check that sponsorship with Jabra. Hopefully that helps. Oh, this is actually a really sweet one. XCJD61 says, Louis, mate, you do so much for us. What's something we could do for you as a show of support to you? Like, honestly, that's so nice. Thank you. You guys don't have to do anything. I guess just keep consuming the content. And if you really want to help out, you can let me know what you want to see more of. Let me know what like suits, because when I get direction and comments from you guys, I know that things are working. So, man, like I'm not going to try and force product down your throat. I'm not going to, tell you to go and buy my 10-week course. Keeping like, indulging in the content and letting me know what you like. So, but yeah, thanks so much for your thought there. MacTom _ says, what role does failure and setback play in your journey? How did you respond to it? I should have written little points down for this, but failure and setback, I've had plenty, and there's so many behind the scenes that you guys haven't seen, probably won't see, and not stuff that I'll necessarily talk about. But man, I've had heaps. I guess from a content perspective, like I had a pretty slow start to it all. I was always like the third person or the second person behind someone else, and like my voice was never really listened to all that much. I was like the guy asking the question, essentially, not answering the question. So I think a few years of doing that actually did me really well, because I know what it is to like what it feels like to be that person. But I really could have like pulled back and gone into my shell after years of that, and I didn't. So that might have been setback. It's certainly not failure, but like how I responded to it was literally just sticking around and knowing that my turn is coming, and it has. So I wish I don't wish, but having a better story would have been more interesting, mate. But I've had injuries here and there, and it always comes down to resilience and resistance. Next up is Alice _ Lynn says, I signed myself up to my first marathon in October. Any tips, tricks, advice? Extra pair of legs? It's a good point. An extra pair of legs would be nice. Alice, I would love to give you tips, tricks, and advice, but I haven't run a marathon at the time of this recording because I am a fake running influencer, apparently. But no, it all comes down to your training. I just can't re-emphasize enough how much running is about mental. Like, you're running this marathon, Alice, set yourself some goals, right? I want to run this marathon without stopping. I want to do it in a certain time. And tell yourself for a good bloody month before you do that marathon that you're going to do it. And I reckon you're going to do it. If it's, I assume the one in October is either like the Melbourne Marathon or, it'd probably be the Melbourne Marathon. In those big groups, like those marathons, you will run so much faster than your normal time just because the pace is so picked up, and like you'll just be like a little bit buzzed and all of that. So I wouldn't worry about it. Trust your training. Hopefully you have a great plan to follow, and trust the process and really believe in yourself. Hopefully listen to these podcasts on the marathon. That would be nice. Kyle.P.Bailey says, how do you stay hydrated on long runs? Do you prep before and hydrate during? Cheers, mate. It's a good question, and it's an issue I ran into when I just ran 30 Ks. How do you stay hydrated? So I obviously drank a whole lot of water and knew I was going to run like that distance a week before I even ran it. So like the days leading up, drinking a lot of water. The morning of, I had these special salt sachets. So I had salts, which actually draws my coach is explaining it to me, it draws the hydration or something. It gets you more hydrated, essentially. So from that perspective, I hydrated really well, but I'm stubborn and there is no chance I'm stopping on a run. So I just did the whole run without drinking any water, and it was 30 Ks. Pretty difficult, to be honest. So I would love to hear people's tips in regards to this. I suppose you could bring like a belt with a water bottle on it, you sip on it. Oh, I'm not about to do that, to be honest. But yeah, I just prepare really well beforehand, a lot of hydration, and not just like glugging water, not like taking huge sips. It's lots of little sips throughout the day is the trick to getting hydrated. Don't just, neck 3 liters of water at once. You're just going to piss out all your electrolytes and you're probably going to cramp up the next day. So just be smart with it. And any professional runners out there who are listening to this, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what to do, because that's the kind of community we have. Jem White says, shoe recommendations. Now, it would be unethical for me to just go and splurt out 3 Brooks pairs that you should buy, but because I've just signed with Brooks and I am sponsored by them, but they are the only shoes I run in currently. So in full transparency, probably don't listen to me, but I absolutely love Brooks. And like, I'm not joking. I've had Brooks. I got a pair sent out to me before. I got a couple of pairs sent out to me before I actually signed with them, and absolutely love them. And I haven't stopped running in them. And then we made the decision, myself and my manager made the decision to sign with Brooks simply because of like how good the shoes are. So whilst, check out all your options, I'd recommend doing that and see what's best for your foot, because it is a very personal thing, shoes. I would not look over Brooks. Like, they are really good shoes, and I think everyone's blown away with like the quality and the performance of the shoes. So, check out Brooks, and they have an array of different shoes that you can pick from, and I absolutely love them. Ronan Connolly 16 says, is the name pronounced Louis or Louis? It's a great question. I've been having a huge identity crisis with my name of recent. I've been asked multiple times, is it Louis or Louis? I don't know. I guess I was born Louis, but my name is spelled Louis, which in French, the S is silent and it's pronounced Louis. So I've always thought it was Louis, but if it was actually Lewis, it would be spelled Lewis. So to be honest, mate, I don't really know. I think I prefer being called Louis. Like, it's more fun, bit playful, and it doesn't sound like I'm in trouble. Like, when I've been growing up, it's always Lewis when you're in trouble, or Louis if I'm like being good. So yeah, great question, bro. I don't know the answer. I'd run with Louis though. BJ_Dunlop says, advice to somebody trying to get fit but constantly has the temptation of social drinking. Yeah. I guess I'm the same, mate. Don't get me wrong. I love a beer. I really do. I love alcohol in general, not from like an addictive perspective, but I love what it brings, spending time with friends, having a couple of drinks and sitting around watching the footy or going to a barbecue. Like, there is nothing better. And there is, if you drink, you can really utilize that to help you in life. Like, you can benefit hugely mentally from doing that. Like, spending time with friends is fantastic. If that involves a couple of beers, and that's fantastic as well. Enjoy it, be responsible, and so on. It is counterintuitive to your training though, and it's something you need to recognize how much of effect. Like if you're gonna drink, do it and make sure you know the effects it's having on you, because from a recovery perspective, I've obviously got this Whoop and it tells me everything. If I drink 2 beers and then go to sleep, recovery out the window. Like literally heart rate picks up overnight. I'm unable to, like my body does not do the correct things to recover, and it processes the alcohol first. It doesn't process the protein properly. Your muscles aren't getting recovered. Your heart rate picks up. Like there's so many things. Alcohol is not good for you. So like advice to someone who's trying to like get fit but constantly going out drinking, well, I think you need to know where your goals are. And if you want advice to stop going out, start doing things on a Sunday morning. Start making your Sunday really active and really purposeful. Don't just use Sunday as a day to get over a hangover. It shouldn't be like that. Use Sunday as a day to rejuvenate, have a bit of fun, go for a walk, do whatever. Just make something out of your Sundays. So if you want to stop doing the social drinking stuff, I would start planning things on your Sunday morning. Go for a 6 a.m. bike ride on your Sunday morning. Go for a 6 a.m. run, and stop giving yourself the temptation of drinking. And yeah, just do it responsibly. Cam_Sned says, what makes you want to do all this? Bracket social media, running programs, podcasts, your business. I totally get that. It's a good question. What does make me want to do all this? I certainly don't want to work for someone, that's for sure. But yeah, it sounds really cliche, but I just love helping people. Like, I love all of this. I love the messages, the questions, I don't want to say the attention because that like sounds very egotistical, but I love what comes with being someone who helps a lot of people. And I think that's a positive. Like it really drives me to keep helping. So what makes me want to do all of it? It all comes back to helping, and then there's great perks along the way, mate. Like if I make it, if I really make it, it could be I'm really in for a fantastic life if I'm being dead set, and not just from an economical perspective, like from my conscience, like how I feel on the inside. I go to sleep at night feeling incredible if I've helped X amount of people. So that's why I do it. Hopefully that answers your question. Grant Predew says, why is my sex drive decreasing as I increase the volume of my training? It's a great point, and something you're probably not told about. Like, for instance, I think there was a study, AFL players have like low testosterone, which is crazy, but it's because they do so much cardio. So you wouldn't think, those blokes running around out there in their little shorts and looking jacked have low testosterone, but they probably have lower testosterone to people of their age group who are fit and healthy. And that's because of all the cardio. So I definitely notice it. As my cardio goes up, which it's about to, my sex drive goes down. As I get more tired, my sex drive goes down. So it's something to be aware of. Your sex drive could also be a good indication of if you're overtraining or if you think you're training too much. Obviously seek professional medical advice, but sex drive is a really good indicator for how hard you're training. It's also a great indicator of how stressed you are and so on. And it's not something that should be like ignored. But yeah, a lot of people don't know that as cardio goes up, often your sex drive goes down. Amelia Bryant _ says, aiming to run a half marathon. Any tips for my first time doing it, inspired by your 30K run? Thank you so much, Amelia. I'm glad you were inspired. I think I've given enough like tips in regards to how to do these runs. Like, obviously prepare really well with the right, correct training, progressive overload, lots of like aerobic base building through, weeks of running, like volume-based running. But I can't stress enough how much of that run is going to be mental. Like it is 95% mental. If you come into it saying, I'm going to do it, I am going to do this run, and you set yourself up in terms of nutrition, you've carved up the day before, you've slept well the night before, and then you get out there and you go and do the run, and the whole time during that run, you say, I'm running this half marathon. I am going to do it. You will get it done. I guarantee it. So there's not really anything I can tell you that's just going to like blow your mind, but yeah, just believe in yourself. This is the last question from Stevie underscore Kung. Literally just followed me. He followed me and then asked this question, and then I pretty much turned the mic on. So it's the last one. He said, "Who are you and why are you popular?" It's fair enough, and I feel like it's a good opportunity to actually answer this question because I'm sure a lot of you don't actually know who I am. My name's Louis. I'm 24. I live in Melbourne, Australia. I've been making content for the last 4 years. I started with predominantly like football, like Australian rules football / bodybuilding, and I really couldn't find my legs. I couldn't find my feet with that. In the last 4 months, I've gone up about 190,000 followers on Instagram, and the response has been incredible. So I feel this real need to help people, and it's in regards to running. So I am known as the running guy in my circles now, and that is what I do essentially. So why am I popular? Well, it's a good question. I think I have found a way in which I can communicate my thoughts effectively, and I am not asking for anything. Like, I'm not asking for money from anyone. I genuinely do all this for free. I've also got a few sponsors, of course, which pays my rent, but I'm not like selling programs. I'm not, trying to rinse your bank account. So I think that might be why I'm so popular. Oh, it says, why are you not so popular? I think that might be why I am popular. But it could be something. It could be of my gorgeous looks, mate. I don't know. You tell me. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Absolutely loving these solo episodes, and I want to keep getting you guys involved. So please send in any voice messages. We didn't have any voice messages for this one. I was a little bit unprepared, but please, like, they really make the show, and it will be audibly a lot better if you guys send in voice messages because it'll break up my annoying voice. So make sure you send those in, and I look forward to hearing you on the next episode. Love you. Bye.